Attention, Israelites and Gentiles. The children of darkness follow the dark moon. Here we have a picture of the dark moon that you see above, which is black, and its illumination is 0%. And I know what you're thinking, my people. You're thinking that the dark moon is not the new moon day? Unfortunately, no. The information that the Gentile gave to us is not correct about the new moon day. And in this video, I have solid evidence to prove that the new moon day is the first day when we see that silver of light on the moon from the earth. This is why we can blow a shofar, and this is why we can witness it in the heaven, because it has light. But let us review the other phases of the moon. There are 4 quarter lunar phases, okay? And once you understand about those phases and when they can show and what week they can fall in the lunar week, then you will know that you have sighted the new moon correctly. So looking below, we have the half moon, which is the waxing half moon, that will fall on September the 9th, 2:48 p.m. Israel Standard Time. Now this is based for Arad, Israel, for we know everything starts with Israel. So that day will fall on the Hebrew calendar between September the 8th and September the 9th, because it's before sundown. For the full moon, it falls on September the 16th, 10:05 p.m. So that's at night, my people. So on the Hebrew calendar, that would fall on September the 16th to September the 17th. And the full moon can only fall on the 14th or 15th day of the lunar month. It also can only fall on the second week of the lunar month. Now we have the waning half moon, because the light is decreasing now to 50%. That would fall on September the 23rd at 12:56 p.m. at Israel Standard Time. Again, my people, for the Hebrew calendar, that would fall on September the 22nd to September the 23rd on the Hebrew calendar, because it's before sundown. So let us go to the next slide. Here we have a picture of the 5th month of the Hebrew calendar. And I want you to take a notice. The 4 quarter moon phases I was talking about are, you have your waxing half moon, your full moon, and your waning moon, and then your dark moon. And you can see below the calendar, I write down the day it was shown or seen in Arad, Israel. This is very important, my people. And this is how you know that you sighted your new moon day correctly, because number one, we already know that the full moon can only fall on the 14th or 15th day of the lunar month. But let us start with the waning half moon. That's the moon that's 50%. It only shows in the first week. And in my calendar here of the 5th month, it fell on the 7th day of the Hebrew month. Okay? And the Gregorian dates that it fell on that day is from August the 10th to August the 11th. Okay? And that is the first week of the lunar week. Now, this phase can be on the 6th, 7th, or 8th day. Then let us look at the second week of the full moon. Now, the full moon can only fall on your 14th day or your 15th day. And for this calendar, it fell on the 14th day. And the Gregorian date that this full moon can fall on is from the 17th to the 18th of August. Remember, we go from sundown to sundown. And that is the second week of the lunar month. Now, for the third week of the lunar month, we have the waning half moon, and that's when the moon is decreasing in light and is 50%. As we see here on this calendar, it fell on the 21st day, but it can fall on your 21st or 22nd day. Now, for the Gregorian date for this calendar is, it fell on between the 24th of August to the 25th of August. Remember, sundown to sundown. And the last, I'm sorry, and also your waning half moon only can fall in the third week of the lunar month. Now, for the last phase of the lunar month, which is the dark moon, it can fall on the fourth week of the lunar month or the last day of the lunar month. Remember, my people, when the moon has no light on it, it will be dark and you cannot see it in the heavens. Okay. So on this calendar, it fell on the 28th day of the fifth month. And my Gregorian dates are from August the 31st to September the 1st. This is the time frame where we have the dark moon. Okay. So your dark moon can fall on these days. It can fall on your 28th, 29th, or 30th day. Now, the last waning crescent of the moon can fall on the 27th day, 28th, or 29th day. Now, the last waning crescent, again, can only occur in the fourth week of the lunar month. So now you're beginning to see that if you do not sight your new moon correctly, the quarter phases of the moon would not align up. In other words, your half moon, your full moon, your waning half moon will be out of alignment on your calendar, and they will not fall in the correct lunar week nor the correct lunar day. Let us go to the next slide. This is proof for my people because I know you will not receive what I'm saying to you, despite how many scriptures I can show you in the Bible. For we know it is written in Ben Sirah, which is also known as Ecclesiastical, chapter 43, verse 6 to 10, that the moon declare our times, and we go by the light on the moon. So when we see that first silver light on the moon, it's the beginning of the month, to when we see no light on the moon, that is the end of the month, because that moon is resting that day. For she has to rejuvenate herself and be refreshed to start a new month. So remember, the dark moon can only fall on the 20, 28, 29, or 30th day. Okay. So during the dark moon phase, sometimes it can be 1 to 2 days before we will see the correct the correct new moon, which is that first silver light that is witnessed from the earth. But here's the proof. In Wikipedia full moon, it states, therefore, in those lunar calendations in which each month begins on the new moon, the full moons fall on either the 14th or 15th of the lunar month. Because calendar months have a whole number of days, lunar months may be either 29 or 30 days. I will also put the link of this website in the description box so you can read further. But here it is confirming that your full moon can only be on the 14th or the 15th day of the lunar month. Also, it is confirming what First Enoch was telling us about the full moon that's written in chapter 78. And I know many of my people do not follow the book of Enoch because they think it's false. But here, as we can see, even the Gentiles are saying the same thing, and we can witness this in the heavens as well for proof. Let us go to the next slide. In this slide here, we'll be talking about the lunar phase. But it gives us a very important understanding on why the lunar phases happen on different days, such as why do the waxing half a moon happens on the 16th, happen on the 6th, the 7th, or 8th day, or why does the full moon only happens on the 4th or 15th day? Why does the waning half moon only happens on the 21st or 22nd day? And therefore, for it is written on this site that each of the 4 intermediate lunar phases, which is seen below, is roughly 7 days, 7.4 days. But this varies slightly due to the elliptical shape of the moon's orbit. So what it's basically telling you that it takes about 7 days for each of these 4 lunar phases to occur. But sometimes it can be less than 7 days or a little bit more than 7 days. For example, the half waning moon, because it falls on the 6th, 7th, or 8th day, is a great example of how it can be 7 days from the first day of your new moon day, and 7 days from that is the 8th day. But then it can fall on the 6th or 7th day, which is less than 7 days. Another example is your full moon. If we look at how many days is from your waxing half moon, for example, if your waxing half moon fell on the 7th day and your full moon fell on the 14th day, that's about 7 days. But if the full moon fell on the 15th day, that'll be about 8 days. So as we can see, this is explaining to you why there's a variation on these days. Okay? And it's all dependent on how the moon orbit around the earth. For when you read and study for yourself, you find that sometimes the moon can speed up or slow down, and there's certain things that affect the moon orbit. So let us go to the next slide to learn more about the lunar phases. This is one of the most important slides in this video because a lot of my people don't understand how to observe the moon in the heavens. They don't know what to look for, when to look for it, because most of us are in different time frame. For example, in Israel, everything begins there. So whatever they see will be pretty much accurate unless they have things to affect what they sight in the heavens, such as the sky being cloudy, or if you have a major dust storm, things of that nature that will affect your sighting of the moon. But for us in the other parts of the world, like for me, I'm in America. So Israel is 7 hours from me. That's in the Eastern Standard Time. If you're in the Central Standard Time, Israel would be about 8 hours ahead of you. And if you're in the Pacific Standard Time, Israel will be 10 hours ahead of you. So this is why we won't see the same thing at the same time. For example, they will see the new moon before we will because we are 7 hours behind them. So let us go over this slide here and you can see what I'm talking about. Now remember, the heathens would say the new moon is the dark moon. And notice the column that says visibility. You go from phase, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, visibility. That's the column I'm talking about. So they call the dark moon the new moon. And you cannot see this, you cannot witness this. So you will not be able to fulfill numbers 10 and 10 because you cannot provide any proof that it's the new moon day. You cannot blow your shofar because, like I said, if you don't see a light to confirm that month has started, how do you know you witnessed the correct day? And the Most High, again, in Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 14, say he give us these lights in the heavens to be a sign for us, okay? So again, that's another proof of why you can't follow the dark moon, because you can't see it and you cannot provide any evidence that it can be observed in the heavens from the earth. The next phase we're going to talk about is the first silver crescent. And here it said that it's visible like late morning to post dusk. And what that basically means is to see the correct new moon day at sundown in the west, you will see that first sliver of light. And you really have to pay close attention. You have to make sure that your weather conditions are good. You have to make sure that you don't have tall things standing your way, blocking from you seeing the sky. I mean, it's a lot of things that go into this when observing the new moon. And also we'll put a link as well to give you tips on how to observe the new moon. So it is witnessed at sundown, okay? Now, the next phase is the first quarter phase, and that is the waxing half moon. They said you will usually see it from afternoon and early evening. So, this is why we can see the moon throughout the daytime. And if you on Facebook, if you go to my new moon album, I have pictures showing how the moon can be witnessed during the daytime, as well as my Yahuwah Counter Creative album. You can see that as well. Now let's go to the full moon. Now they said the full moon can be seen from sunset to sunrise all night. So between that time frame, from when the sun is going down to all the way throughout the night, you will see the full moon. Now this is what I have to make clear, because a lot of people get this confused. There's only one full moon day, and it is 100% illuminated. And those who, like, for I have a sister in Barbados, she said you can tell the difference when the moon is 100% illuminated. It's not the same like any other night. And some of my people get confused because they think the other days, like the moon is full, because they see a circle disc, but it's actually not. So this is why it's so important that you know, or that you keep up the dates and times of these lunar phases. Now, the third quarter is actually the waxing half moon. And they say that you can usually see that at late night to morning. And then it brings us back to the waning crescent. Okay, remember I said the waning crescent after the half moon will start falling in your fourth week. And you can see it around pre-dawn. That means that period of time when you see that light in the sky before sunrise to early afternoon. So also this link will be put in the box, okay, so you can study and review this for yourself, and so you can begin to understand how to observe the moon as well the moon phases. So let us go to the next slide. So what this slide here is doing, I want to bring attention to my people to let them know that the children of darkness follow the dark moon. And the children of darkness means that the children of Satan, the devil, they are into dark things. Remember, Satan patterned himself after the Father. In other words, they are the opposite of us. They don't follow the same things we follow. We are the children of the light, which are the children of Yahuwah. You can read that in 1 John chapter 3. And then you can also read that in St. John, chapter 3, verse 12 to 13. And also do a word search on sons of God or children of light, and it'll prove what I'm telling you. Because I know what you're thinking. I'm not talking about the Illuminati either. So when you are a child of the light, you are about the truth and you're about the word of the Most High. So again, I'm proving to you what I'm sharing is the truth, and I have the evidence to back it up. Not only what the Gentiles are saying in their own books, but as well what the heavens are saying to you. And please remember Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, and Ben Sirach chapter 43, verse 6 through 10 of the King James Bible 1611. But let me read. Israelites who are following the dark moon cannot blow the shofar, Numbers 10:10, because it cannot be witnessed from the earth. The 4 moon quarters will be out of alignment on their lunar calendar and lunar week. Their dark moon, which is the first moon day, is August 31st through September 1st, sundown to sundown on the Hebrew calendar. The waxing half moon will fall on the 8th day in the first week. And their full moon will fall on the 17th day in the third week. Now, my people, that is impossible, for I had just proven to you that the full moon can only be on the 14th or 15th day in the second week. Then their half moon on their calendar will fall on the 23rd day in the fourth week. Again, my people, that is impossible. The waning half moon must be in the third week on the 21st or 22nd day. I cannot stress this, how much this is important, But you need to do your research, my people. It takes a month for the moon to orbit around the earth, which is 29 or 30 days. Therefore, the full moon can only be on the 14th or 15th day on your calendar. Write it out and count it. Whatever your new moon day, count it out. If you don't get 14 or 15, then you know you decided your new moon day incorrectly. This has been confirmed by man and by the prophet Enoch. First Enoch chapter 78 verses 6 to 11 and 12 to 14. The children of light follow Yahuwah's instructions that the new moon day is the first sliver of light that is witnessed from the earth. And that's also written in Enoch chapter 78 verses 12 to 14. And now I will close this lesson with these Bible verses. Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. And Yahuwah said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Again, my people, these lights are in the heavens are for what? Signs, for seasons, for days and years. First Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 4. Be ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor darkness. John chapter 12 verse 36. While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light. These things spake Yahushua and departed, and did hid himself from them. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 8. For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Most High. Walk as the children of light, for the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto the Most High. And I will close this lesson out with this last verse. James chapter 1 verse 17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom no variableness, neither shadow of turning. So again, my people, do your research and seek out the Father on this. For the children of Satan and his father, for the children of Satan, which basically are his followers, they can be Israelites and they can be Gentiles, are trying to pull you away from the Father, are trying to get you to follow dark things that he did not command us to do. So my brothers and sisters in the body of Yahushua HaMashiach, Israelites and Gentiles, thank you for watching, and preach the gospel of the kingdom of heaven is at hand. This is the season for Yahushua to return. Check the description box for more videos on Yahuwah's calendar, and receive salvation, which is written in Romans chapter 10, verse 8 through 13, and be baptized in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Shalom.